Military aviation is a crazy world on its own. Some machines are not merely built for flight. Yes, that is shocking, but they are built to embody power, technological dominance, and national ambition. Their price tags are staggering, their capabilities the stuff of classified reports, and their presence in the skies a signal to allies and adversaries alike that air power remains one of the most decisive tools in modern warfare. Now let's look at the F-35 Lightning II. This stealthy multi-role fighter has become the backbone of Allied air forces across the world. At around $80 million per aircraft, it brings together advanced sensors, agility, and a combat record that is already reshaping doctrines for the next generation of aerial warfare. Then there's the F-22 Raptor, the air superiority fighter that for years was unmatched in the skies. Produced in limited numbers before the line was shut down, each Raptor carried a price tag of roughly $143 million. It was a machine so advanced that even its export was forbidden, a guardrail to keep its secrets from ever leaving American soil. For sheer logistical power, there is the C-17 Globemaster III. This massive transport aircraft, costing about $340 million each, can carry tanks, troops, and relief supplies across oceans, landing on short runways and operating deep inside contested regions. And then, for decades, there was the B-2 Spirit, the stealth bomber whose flying wing design could slip through the most sophisticated radar networks in the world. Its development pushed the limits of materials science and avionics, driving the cost of each aircraft to more than $1 billion in today's currency. The B-2 was the ultimate expression of long-range, precision strike, until now, because the #1 spot now belongs to the Northrop Grumman B-21 Raider. After years of secrecy, the B-21 is here, and the United States Air Force has confirmed that it could be ready for combat as early as next year. At roughly $692 million per aircraft in fiscal year 2022 figures, it is the costliest new bomber the United States has ever fielded. It is a machine designed not just to replace its predecessors, but to redefine what a strategic bomber can be in an era of contested skies and peer adversaries. And we will look at its origins, its price, and its purpose. We will see why its arrival is sending ripples through every defense ministry that may one day have to face it. The story of the B-21 Raider begins in 2015 when the United States Air Force awarded Northrop Grumman the contract for what it called the Long Range Strike Bomber, or LRS-B. The brief was clear but daunting. Build an aircraft that can penetrate the most advanced air defenses on the planet, deliver both nuclear and conventional weapons, and remain effective for decades through constant technological upgrades. This was not just about replacing aircraft that were approaching the end of their service lives. It was about anticipating the threats of the 2030s and the 2040s and beyond. Adversary radar networks were growing more sophisticated, and anti-access area denial systems were expanding in both range and lethality. To retain the ability to strike anywhere on the globe, the Air Force needed a bomber that could do more than survive in those environments. It needed to dominate them. Northrop Grumman's design leaned heavily on lessons learned from the B-2 Spirit, but was informed by 30 years of advances in materials, sensors, and computing power. The program operated under extreme secrecy at Air Force Plant 42 in Palmdale, California, where even the most basic details about the aircraft specifications were classified. The intent was to protect every advantage before the bomber ever took to the skies. The aircraft would be designed with modular systems, allowing its sensors, weapons, and mission computers to be swapped or upgraded without redesigning the airframe. It would also be capable of flying with or without a crew, opening the possibility of aircraft missions into the most dangerous environments. Raiders, the airmen who launched a daring bombing raid on Japan in 1942. It was a reminder that the aircraft was meant to deliver not only firepower, but also a strategic message. The first flight took place on November 10, 2023 from Palmdale to Edwards Air Force Base for testing. By then, the Air Force had already signaled its intent to buy at least 100 aircraft, with some projections suggesting the fleet could eventually reach 145 or more. The B-21's price tag is a headline in its own right. It is the most expensive aircraft currently in production for the United States. The total program cost is projected at around $203 billion for procurement, development, and operations of 100 aircraft. By comparison, the F-35 comes in at around $80 million per jet. The retired F-22 Raptor cost approximately $143 million. The C-17 transport aircraft is valued at roughly $340 million. And the B-2 Spirit, its closest analog, costs more than $1 billion per aircraft when adjusted for inflation. Why is the B-21 so costly? Part of it lies in its stealth profile. It uses advanced composite materials and radar-absorbing coatings that are more durable and easier to maintain than those on the B-2. It carries next-generation avionics, sensors, and mission systems designed to adapt quickly to emerging threats. It is also nuclear certified, which demands additional layers of redundancy, shielding, and testing. Another factor is production philosophy. The B-21 is being built in a low-rate initial production phase that allows the Air Force to evaluate performance before scaling up. That slower ramp-up comes at a higher per-unit cost, but it reduces the risk of building large numbers of an aircraft before its systems are fully proven. From the outside, the B-21 may look like a smaller, more refined version of the B-2 Spirit, but the differences run far deeper than the airframe's contours. Its radar cross-section is believed to be significantly smaller, aided by redesigned engine inlets and improved thermal management to reduce infrared signature. It is built to operate in an era when adversary air defense systems can track stealth aircraft at greater ranges. The B-21 stealth is not just a matter of shaping and coatings. It is a system of systems approach that integrates electronic warfare, sensor fusion, and mission planning to remain invisible in contested environments. Its open architecture allows for rapid integration of new weapons, sensors, and communication systems, ensuring it remains relevant as technology evolves. It is also designed for flexibility in roles, able to carry nuclear gravity bombs, long-range cruise missiles, and potentially hypersonic weapons. It would also be capable of operating alongside unmanned systems, coordinating with autonomous platforms in the most dangerous environments. The B-21 is still officially in its test phase, but the United States Air Force has made it clear that this is not a prototype in the traditional sense. The aircraft you see today is already close to the production configuration. Every flight at Edwards is gathering the data needed to refine systems, validate performance, and prepare crews for operational missions. Senior Air Force officials have suggested that if testing continues at its current pace, the B-21 could reach initial operational capability as early as 2026. Some analysts believe that in the event of an unexpected crisis, the aircraft could be fielded sooner for limited missions. This is a level of readiness rarely seen in a program this complex, and it reflects the decision to design the radar with mature technologies rather than unproven concepts. Each step in the test program is building toward a bomber that can deploy from the continental United States, penetrate advanced integrated air defense systems, and strike targets thousands of miles away with precision. That ability is not theoretical. It is the foundation of America's nuclear triad and a critical piece of conventional strike planning. The B-21 enters service at a time when the strategic landscape is shifting rapidly. Peer competitors are fielding hypersonic weapons, long-range surface-to-air missile systems, and dense electronic warfare networks designed to make traditional air campaigns costly and uncertain. In the Indo-Pacific, a bomber that can reach deep into contested territory without being seen is a counterbalance to anti-access area denial zones. In Europe, it provides a credible deterrent against aggression, able to hold strategic targets at risk without relying on vulnerable forward bases. And in the Middle East, it offers the ability to strike time-sensitive, high-value targets from outside the range of most threats. Its flexibility is what makes it dangerous to adversaries. The B-21 can carry both nuclear and conventional payloads, switching between roles with minimal reconfiguration. It can also operate alongside other aircraft, network to share targeting data in real time, or act independently as a stealthy lone asset. The Air Force has been here before, and that is long enough for a truckload of lessons. In the 1990s, the B-2 Spirit proved that stealth bombers could strike with impunity against heavily defended targets. It flew combat missions over Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Libya, often delivering the first blows of a campaign. But the B-2 fleet was capped at just 20 operational aircraft, a consequence of Cold War budget cuts and the staggering cost of each plane. Maintenance demands were intense, with stealth coatings requiring hours of work for every hour in the air. The fleet's small size meant it could never be everywhere it was needed. The B-21 is intended to avoid those pitfalls. Its stealth materials are more robust, requiring less maintenance. Its modular systems are easy to upgrade, and with a planned fleet of at least 100, the Air Force will have the numbers to project power across multiple theaters at once. Even with these improvements, the Raider's cost is drawing scrutiny. At nearly $700 million per aircraft, it represents a massive investment at a time when the Pentagon is juggling demands for new fighters, tankers, drones, and space capabilities. Critics warn that such an expensive platform could become a high-value target for political debate, especially if procurement slows or costs rise. Supporters counter that in a conflict with a peer adversary, the ability to strike anywhere without warning is worth the price. In their view, deterrence is not cheap, but the cost of losing that edge could be far greater. Every budget cycle will bring questions about the Raiders' cost, but for now, the Air Force appears committed to building the fleet it says it needs. If the B-21 performs as intended, it will give the United States a level of strategic flexibility unmatched by any other Air Force. It could be forward deployed to Allied bases or operate from the continental United States, striking anywhere on the planet without the need for regional permission. That capability is a powerful deterrent. Adversaries must account for the possibility that a Raider is already en route, invisible to their radars, with the ability to deliver precision strikes at a time and place of America's choosing. The psychological effect of such a weapon cannot be overstated. In warfare, uncertainty can be as decisive as raw firepower, and the Raider's greatest weapon may be the doubt it plants in an opponent's mind. The unveiling of the B-21 Raider has not gone unnoticed beyond American borders. In Beijing, defense analysts have speculated that its ability to launch precision strikes from thousands of miles away could alter the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. In Moscow, military commentators have linked it directly to NATO's strategic posture, warning that such a platform could threaten key assets deep inside Russian territory without detection. Allied nations have taken a different view, seeing the Raider as both a reassurance and a challenge. For countries within the American security umbrella, it is proof that the United States is willing to invest in long-range capabilities that can defend shared interests. But it also raises expectations that allies will adapt their own forces to integrate with such advanced systems, investing in stealth, network sensors, and long-range strike on their own. Defense industries worldwide are watching closely. A bomber that can combine deep penetration with real-time networking could define not only air campaigns, but also procurement priorities. Several nations have already hinted at accelerating their own stealth programs in response, while others may double down on counter-stealth technologies to keep pace. Despite its promise, the B-21 program faces real challenges. Testing must validate that its stealth, range, payload, and systems integration all meet requirements under realistic combat conditions. Supply chain issues could slow down production, especially for the specialized materials and components needed for its stealth features. There is also the question of survivability over time. Adversaries are investing heavily in counter-stealth technologies, from new radar frequencies to infrared tracking systems. The B-21 will still need regular upgrades to stay ahead of these developments. The B-21 Raider is not just another aircraft. Its value lies in the strategic options it provides, options that could mean the difference between deterring a war and fighting one. And as it moves from testing to operational service, the world will be watching. Adversaries will study every rumor, every data point, searching for weaknesses, while allies will look to it as proof that American air power remains on par. Simply put, the era of the stealth bomber is entering a new chapter, and the B-21 Raider is turning the page. If you made it this far, thank you for sticking with us. There is more where this came from. Just subscribe to Aerospace and turn on notifications to stay in the loop.